Okay, guys, so Uche went on the Misunderstood podcast today, and I listened to the whole thing for you, and you're welcome because it was an hour. So let's get down to the nitty gritty because you know he was dropping tea and giving spoilers. So I'm going to get into everything else he said, but let's first address how he said that he found out that Lydia knew that he was going on the show. So he says that he was recruited for the show, and the way that this works is that casting producers follow you on Instagram and then they message you saying that they think that you'd be a good fit for this show. Lydia told members of the cast, told some of the girls that she was checking his followers often, and she noticed that he followed somebody new. She noticed that he followed a casting producer, and that when she went to that casting producer's page, it says like at the top, like now casting for Love is Blind season 5. So he says that she then blocked him so that there would be no paper trail that they knew each other, and then she applied for the show. He said that she literally told some of the girls this. Any of the girls, if you want to hop in these comments and confirm if that's true, please do. He said that she realized how cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs that sound, and then she backtracked and started telling people like Uche told her that he was going on the show, and that's how she knew. But he says they never ever had a conversation about him going on the show. And he does still stand by the fact that she was saying on the first day, like, I feel like I'm gonna run into somebody from my past. So rather she saw it from your Instagram followers or you told her, the bottom line is that she knew that he was going. Do we believe Uche? Like, I just find it so hard to believe him. He's tricky because he's definitely likable. Like in this interview, he was actually likable. I forgot I hated him for like 2 seconds. Hated his character. So I get how he could trick a bitch, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, he did say that like production sat them down and basically told them like, you have 2 choices. Either you can like not tell anybody about this, or you could take your ass home. And they both decided to just not tell anybody about it. He said that he did tell production that he thought that they set this up and like did it to create drama, but they said that they were just as surprised as him. Anyway, he said he signed up for the show because he thought it would be a fun, unique experience. He said that he was recruited by Love at First Sight before, Love at First Sight. And he didn't like the concept of that show, but he did like the concept of this show. Say he started the casting process in November of 2021 and like got the final answer in March of 2022. So if Lydia did apply, they still had to apply and like do a casting process, like a 4-month casting process. So it is really crazy if they just both ended up there together. Like, so he said the way that everything went down with like telling Aaliyah, he said they weren't allowed to tell anybody anything, but he said he asked Aaliyah like, oh, are you making any friends in the house? Like, are there any girls that you're getting close to? That's when she revealed that it was Lydia. He said he went back to production and was like, this isn't right. Like, she's becoming friends with this girl and I'm keeping the secret from her. I have to tell her. He said that's when production gave him the green light to go ahead and tell Aaliyah about his relationship with Lydia and gave Lydia the same green light. He said that Aaliyah did come to him and tell him like, oh, Lydia's telling me all of these things about you, and that he told her, no, that can't be because production already told us that if we say anything about the other one that we're going to get sent home. So he says he went to production, told them this, and was like, why is she not getting sent home if she's telling Aaliyah all these things about me? And that production basically denied it was happening. That they were like, we don't know what you're talking about. Like, Lydia hasn't said anything to Aaliyah. We're keeping them separated. We take them to and from the hotel separately. Like, basically production told Uche, like, if she did say something to her, it was something quick and in passing. So that's what Uche thought. Like, okay, like maybe there's like a miscommunication. Like maybe she said something in passing, but production basically lied to him. That's what he said. So he did reiterate that him and Aaliyah did date after the show. He said that they dated for about a month. He said that at that lunch, they actually shared their first kiss, held hands. I know he said this on Instagram, but he reiterated it. And he said that production actually asked if him and Aaliyah wanted to return to the show as like an engaged couple. And they said no. And he said that that's why he thinks he got that edit where it looks like he just broke things off with her because they were a little salty that they didn't want to come back as an engaged couple. He also said that the reason that he was so upset that like Aaliyah left, he said because the day before the engagement, he said they had an in-depth conversation. Like they went over all of their dates. He said they like rediscussed the whole like cheating situation to make sure that everything was good there. Said that he blatantly asked her like, are we good with the whole Lydia thing? She said, yeah, we're fine. He said that they had promised each other to like show up for each other. He said they even like explored the idea of like not even going to Mexico and just like going back to Houston and dating. And he said that's why he was so shocked, because it was like 6 hours later and they're like, she left. He also admitted to talking shit about Izzy, and he said that the reason that he was talking shit about Izzy was because he only got like Johnny's side of the altercation, and when he tried to talk to Izzy about like his side, he never like got around to it, so he only had one perspective on it. But he did admit to calling Izzy superficial, or whatever Izzy said he said about him on the Nick Viall podcast. I didn't watch Izzy's podcast because an hour of Izzy, I know I did an hour of Uche for you guys, but like an hour of Izzy. So he did drop some tea, which a little birdie had told me this tea, and I'm actually glad that Uche admitted it, but he spilled beans that Izzy and Johnny, spoiler alert, that after filming, Izzy re-entered Johnny's life. Yes, they was dating. They tried to date after filming. Uche basically told her not to do it because he's like, hey, like, you remember, like, you told me he was like this bad guy. Remember how you told me he made you feel? Yeah. And that's why Izzy's like, yeah, he was talking shit, because he was. The interviewer asked him like what he thought of like Milton and Lydia's relationship, and he actually said that he thinks that they are a really great match. Didn't you just say that it would be the biggest mistake of Milton's life if he said yes to Lydia? He said that he thinks that they're a great match, that he feels like their personalities complement each other, because Lydia is so emotionally demanding and basically Milton has no emotions. He did say that like Milton is able to prioritize Lydia's emotions and his take a back seat and let her be a little bit more dominant. Like, low-key, you just said that Milton is Lydia's bitch in a super educated, proper way. He also said that he is not single and he has a girlfriend, which God bless her. He also said that he loves JP and he thinks that JP is a great person. Okay, bye.